Greetings from Revealing the Hidden. We are here to discuss another major topic and in continuation of the fear of unknown. And last week we had discussed what do you mean by the term fear of unknown and how a person can have the fear of unknown. And today we are going to discuss how we can manage the fear of unknown, which is very quite common. And as we know that the fear in a person can bring all the symptoms of a normal fear, that my heartbeat can be increased or my breath rate can be increased, I may be panic or I may be sweating, my sugar level, my bp level, everything may go high. So that these are the signs of panic attack. And I've seen people, if I'm scared, I want someone next to me, whereas I may talk, I may try to ventilate. So understand that person is in panic state. So if you are standing next to a person like that, just reassure him that you can able to, because just tell him he's able to do it, that is more than enough. So these are the signs and symptoms. Even if I understand what is going on in me, and I can understand what is going on to the person sitting next to me. So coming directly, how we can manage the fear of unknown. Yes, Bonnie.
I think I would start with there's always a place for fear in our hearts because of we carry a fleshly attitude. But I think one of the biggest things that we can draw from our own childhood is when we are children, we don't tend to fear a lot of things.
Right.
One of it is because we don't have the exposure of knowledge or all of those things. Secondly, we always have the covering of our parents.
Right.
And it's like a covering of the father, the mother, or the guardian, and you know that no matter what breaks, no matter what happens, somebody's going to pick you up. No matter what mess you made, somebody's going to hand hold you and take you to safety. And because you are aware of that entire aspect of being taken care of, you would not fear. It's only later on when you realize, oh, it's all about me, I had to take that step. And that is where you start building upon confidence, as we spoke last time. You start building upon trust and those kind of things. So I think one of the bigger ways and the biggest way is to feed yourself, not with fear but with faith. So when you start doing that, and faith comes when you spend time doing mindfulness activity, when you spend time praying, when you spend time reading the scriptures, that will build up faith. And
Right.
that is only how you will be able to, I believe, combat fear. Second thing that we spoke last time was one of the reasons why one of the reasons why fear comes is because of lack of knowledge. So when we start building upon that knowledge, when we start understanding, for example, we have a stage fright, then if we do adequate preparation and trust on that preparation, then we won't have a scope, or we won't have the space for fear. So the first thing that we do to combat fear is recognize where the fear is coming from and then resolve that fear. And the way to resolve that fear is to take actionable steps in terms of removing that fear. So you remove the space for fear will not be able to come. But in the place of fear, you need to build up faith. You need to build up your passion or whatever, and you need to start putting effort there. And the second big thing is trust. As you grow in trust, not just trusting your own abilities, but trusting yourself to deliver on those situations. As you build on confidence, you build on trust, and in these everyday activities, what will happen is you will experience opportunities where you will wonder how it's going to happen. But because you're doing it day in and day out, you will get into that rhythm.
Right.
And because you get into the rhythm, I think even though you may experience fear or anxiety or panic attacks now and then, you will know the recourse from it, and you will be able to recalibrate your mind, and you'll be able to recalibrate your thinking, and you're receptive to fearful situations, so that you can get out of a comfort zone every single time. And that, I think, the more you do it, the more practice makes it perfect. The more you do, the more you get out of comfort zone. That is where you'll be able to come out of and totally remove the fear of unknown.
Very good, Bonnie. Explained it very well. I would like to explain in a little different aspect. See, management of this fear of unknown, actually purely by training ourselves we can do it. because as a human being we don't have anything in hand, and the fear is always there. Those who are in earth is under some kind of fear. So what I can do is I can train myself how to tackle this kind of fear. So what I can do is first I can understand what is making me fear. Going to the stage is making me scared, or COVID is making me scared. So whatever is the thing, I need to understand first, categorize, question it, categorize it, prioritize it. What I may have 10 reasons for this fear of unknown. Categorize what is important. Once I categorize, I need to find out why I'm scared of this particular thing. Why I'm scared of COVID because of so and so reasons. So just write it down the reasons so that I'm dividing the crude question into simple statements where I can analyze on all these questions individually, so that again what my intensity of the problem is actually reducing. And next thing is I can talk to a trustworthy person, understand why experience is always count in an occupation or anything, because someone has walked ahead of me, so they know much better than me because I'm going behind them. The reason for me to start this particular channel itself is to help the people that are coming behind, and to tell that we also went through this path and moved this much, so that you can also come better. So talk to a trustworthy person so that your concerns will be answered accordingly. So that is another way of management of this fear. Then in a humanly way, I can say that we can use a healthy lifestyle so that we can manage this kind of fear. Avoid the people who put this kind of fear in your life. Avoid and try to get a circle which builds you up, so that can help you to move out of this kind of fear. Then exercise plays a very important role, because when you jump, when you run, actually the kind of blood flow you have, your mind is always fresh. So that can add on to your to deal with this particular issue. Then good food, then the rest, that sleep is important, and other kind of diversional activities help you to be away from this fear of unknown. Anything else to add on to this way?
So I'll say from a real perspective, where there I also face a lot of fears, and one of the strategies that I have started to develop is to know my plan of action when I have to face fears. Now there are two sections of situations. One is when I know I may face fears when I maybe walk into a room, or maybe walk into like a board meeting room, or those kind of situations. I know those situations, so I can plan for those situations. Then there are other situations that I may not know, but fear will just come upon me, and it will just be like a panic attack, or something that I may not be able to know that way, and I may not be able to prepare. So it is those areas where you need to have a recourse or like a reflex, and that reflex is every single time. For example, you need to reach somewhere and you have planned everything, and one by one everything goes wrong. One by one all the chips starts falling like a domino effect, and you don't know what to do next. Now you may not be able to plan that out, but you will be able to prepare your reflex. Are you going to panic, or are you going to be calm and just think with peace? So one of the things that I'm doing, the strategy is prayer, because if at the time of panic I need to hold on to my peace, which comes through prayer.
Very good.
And this is my personal strategy, and it has been working 100% for now. And I think I would want to share this, that don't underestimate your spiritual authority, because fear may not be tangible in terms of you can catch it, but fear will be able, but the day you take authority over fear, you'll be able to remove it. Maybe not with your hands, but with your mouth when you pray. So I think that is one strategy that I would like to add.
Very nicely said, Bonnie. I was about to touch the spiritual way of dealing this kind of fear. Fear is always a negative force. So you don't have anything negative to remove the negative. Obviously, you need to take the positive weapon to remove it. And as you cannot see fear, you cannot see faith.
Correct.
So both are invisible to our eyes. but you know when fear comes, and you can understand when faith comes.
Correct.
When humans speak about how to reduce the intensity of fear, Bible literally speaks how to remove the fear out of you.
Correct.
So the fear is brought by the negativity, whereas God has given us the authority, or the ultimate person whom we can look upon. The way you were telling that the kids did not have any kind of fear because they are under the shelter of the parents.
Correct.
Same way, understand, we are under the shelter of God. There is nothing to fear. So that particular point, we need to have a complete faith, and faith is not only in the mind. You need to speak it out, because I love you. If it is there in my heart, you will never know. When I express it out, you will understand what I want to say. Same way, God also knows that I have faith, but when I speak, it's like a booster for myself.
True.
I'm listening through my sense, then I'm fearless because God is with me. So this kind of attachment, and whom we are going without any fear is the person whom I love the most. Yes, very good. So if anything happens in this house, the first person I approach is my husband, because he is the most trustworthy person I can ever have in this world. So directly I go to him and tell him this is the issue. It is not that whether he can help or he cannot help, but I trust him, so I'll go to him and say everything. Same way, whatever is the problem, kneel down and tell in front of God, who's able to help you for everything. And we have a Bible who gives you the promise that fear not 365 times. That shows each day God is telling you, fear not, I am with you. So fear is something need to be taken away or cast it away and refilled with the power of God, so that there is no chance or there is no vacancy for fear to come again. So this way, as Christians, we know, and actually we need to practice it out. And I would say this should be an inspiration for you, that we all go through the fear, but we practice as a human what we can do, but the human ways or the psychology what speaks cannot take the fear, where what God speaks or Bible speaks will literally remove the fear and fill it with the power of Holy Spirit, so that we can come out of it, and people will not understand what is going on with us. Whatever is going on, God will give us the peace. That is the promise given by God to us by taking away the fear. Anything else to add, Bonnie?
I think we have kind of spoken a lot, and I don't want to share just this one story from the Bible about Gideon, and he was fearful to attack the enemies. So in the story, what God did was God told him to go and hear from the enemies how much fear Gideon's army had put in the hearts of his own enemies, and when he had heard that, then there was no place for fear, because he was supposed to act in faith. But then when he saw his enemies having fear about him, his fear left. And that's where that taught me something, is fear can go, fear should go, and it should have no place in one's life. So if you have fear, doesn't mean that's the end of the road. It means it's the start to remove fear. Just like how we clean our house, we need to clean our mind with all kinds of fear to be removed. Fear should not have any place in our mind.
Very nicely said, and you narrated the story of Gideon very nicely in the aspect of fear of unknown. So we think that we have done justice to the topic, and anyone is going through any kind of fear, tackle it the ways it is given to you. Whatever you are able to take it up and take steps. And if you're finding a difficulty to deal the issues, please get back to us in the contact details what is given in this video. Till we are seeing the next time, we are saying goodbye to you. Thank you.